So I just got around to watching Splinter Cell Deathwatch, so let me give you guys my thoughts about it. Now I will say, before watching the show, I actually went in and actually looked at the history of Splinter Cell because I never really had the chance to ever play the games, except maybe Blacklist. And after learning more about Splinter Cell, I know about 4th Echelon, Sam Fisher, Anna Grimm's daughter, all that. The story is about Xenia, a Splinter Cell agent that goes AWOL after seeing that her partner / lover was tortured and eventually unalived. And after taking out everybody that had a hand in her partner's death, that's when she suffers a grievous wound. However, Anna Grimm's daughter couldn't send someone to help out Xenia, so she calls on someone that's close by, Sam Fisher, who now officially wins the award of I am too old for this shit. Now, why did these people take out her partner? Well, that's because her partner had information on a company that was looking to be the sole provider of green and clean energy. And this being Splinter Cell, they were looking to blow away their competitors, both metaphorically and literally. So after a quick recap of the story, let's talk about the animation. Now, at first, I wasn't really feeling the animation up until like I would say around episode 2 to 3, and then that's when I started liking it. But I think the one thing that I don't really like about the characters is that they have big luscious lips, about to look like Hanayama's ex-girlfriend after kissing him. And now for the action and the stealth in the series. It's pretty good. I mean, it's Splinter Cell. You should have great action and great stealth scenes in the show. It's not Splinter Cell without those two things. Now, when it comes to some of the characters like Anna Grimm's daughter, I did feel like she was basically the same way as she was in the games. But Sam Fisher, he doesn't really have his sense of humor anymore, and his like hard exterior is kind of gone. But I get why he's the way he is. You know, he's getting older. He's seen so much, and all he just wants to do is retire, but he can't. He just keeps getting pulled back in to 4th Echelon. And I get why people don't like this portrayal of Sam Fisher. They want him to be like in Blacklist. They want him to be like in Convicted. You know, they want that Sam Fisher. But Sam Fisher back then is going to be different from Sam Fisher now. You know, he's 66 years old. He's gonna be different. Is it a bad thing that people want the old Sam Fisher back? No. Especially since Ubisoft can still do so much more with this character. Is it a bad thing for people to explore an older Sam Fisher? Also no. And I think that's because there's still a potential story to tell there, to see how an older Sam Fisher feels about everything that's happened in his life. But that's enough of me yapping about Sam. Let's move on to the other stuff. Now, for the villains in the series, well, they were just that. They were villains. They were bad people. They were people that would take out other people for money. They didn't have any moral standing or anything. They didn't believe in a cause that the main bad guy was, you know, trying to do or everything. It's they did what they did, you know. They did what they did for money. I also felt like we had a good balance between the supporting characters as well as the main characters, and I also felt that there wasn't any useless exposition, you know, like we didn't have anybody's backstory on why they joined like 4th Echelon or why they decided to want to be an agent for Splinter Cell. You know, we didn't get none of that, which is a good thing in my book. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, Xenia. Now I get why people didn't really like Xenia. She was going to be the character that replaces Sam. She was going to be better, stronger, smarter, and faster than Sam, and you know, and all that stuff that Netflix likes to do. And honestly, to me, she didn't really feel like that. To quote a TikTok user named Orem, her character never felt like it insisted upon herself to a narcissistic degree. Well, is she a very well-written character? Well, to me, we didn't really have a lot of time with her, and we don't really know much about her, so to me, not really. So what about the other stuff that they say about this character? Like her taking out an apartment filled with guards is unrealistic. And I would actually have to agree with that. In Splinter Cell, there's still a little bit of a hint of realism in the series. So her taking out a house full of guards that know that she's there with guns and everything for her to only walk away with just a stab wound does seem far out there. Even Sam in the games would still walk away with more than just one wound, especially if he was in that type of a situation. But honestly, I would use realism very lightly because this is an agency backed by the US that only sends in one operative to do a mission, to which in reality that wouldn't really happen. But after episode 1, they do turn it down a bit, as we do see her kind of take more of a beating throughout the series. Also, I can't believe I forgot about the voice acting. I think the voice acting is fantastic. I think Live Sherbier playing Sam Fisher is a great choice, especially since Michael Ironside is getting up there in age. So what are my final thoughts about Splinter Cell Deathwatch? Well, to me, it was okay. Not 10 out of 10, not a 6.5, definitely not a 2. A good solid 5. Do I suggest this as a starting point to get into Splinter Cell? No, I think you should actually play the games first and then watch the show after. And I also heard that they have books too, but I haven't had the chance to get my hands on those. So if you want to go out and read the books, I would also suggest you go out and read the books. But that's it for me, guys. Everything I said in this video is always, again, my own opinion. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below.